Oh, no, no mind. We're connected. Good, good, good. Okay. Good morning. Good, I guess, afternoon, and good afternoon, boys and girls. How are we all doing today? Yes, that's right. That's right. We're doing the whatever, Microsoft. Yeah. I I mean, I used to really be okay with Microsoft for, I guess, for the past 5 or so years. But like ever since 2021 started, it's just been like they've just been like all of the old decisions have started bubbling up, and oh, okay, no, we're good. And like Microsoft is trying to be like more like Google than Microsoft, which in itself is not that Microsoft. They're not. Ugh. Yes, that this is me being extremely annoying. Thank you. Let me just put down some text. Give me 1 second. Microsoft. Second. We're good. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, I mean, I know why. It's because one of you lot sponsored it. But still, right? Like that feels. The question is, why would you? And genuinely, I have no answer for that. Well, we'll use this background just to give it a little bit, a little sense of modernity, as opposed. Hey, come on, a little sense of modernity as opposed to not. Uh, there we go. Do it like that. Do you guys need the link? Okay, I'll put the link on. Yeah, I'll type out the link, and our administrator, or actually our administrator, will type out the link. But yeah, it's starting just now. Do you, does anyone want the Oh, Panos is on already. Does anyone want the background music? Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, I mean, okay. If you're not going to be listening to the stream, why are you listening to me talk about it? Panos is looking a little bit older. Ooh, sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, they've already announced Windows 11 a while back. Openness. Honestly, these guys should just be wearing suits, man. I don't know why they're trying so hard to be tech execs. Like, they're not. Oh, yeah. These announced the Surface 8. Critical. Of course you would say that. I actually, I bought the first Surface. I bought Surface Pro 1. So like I've been on this train. Okay. Okay, Panos, let's bring it back a little. No. See, Microsoft is a little bit late to the bandwagon. Because the rumor mill is suggesting, like a slightly better bezel in Thunderbolt 3. But the tablet itself is a little bit old news at this point. The camera movement and like Panos just like walking around is just kind of weird. Doesn't it feel like Microsoft is trying too hard? It doesn't adapt. I feel like this isn't. He didn't write this. I feel like someone else wrote this for him. Sorry, is my voice too loud? Okay, a little bit better. A little bit better? Good. Hardware and software. Oh yeah, I could put my face bigger. That's a good point. You're gonna challenge convention. 8 new devices. Ooh. 8 new devices. Wow. Okay, I mean they have screens, so of course they're gonna light the room up. Oh. Okay. So when they say new devices, they mean also like the Android phones. Not that critical. Don't listen to that. Oh look, they have a pen. So maybe their phone has a yeah, their phone probably has a digitizer. I mean, the Microsoft hardware has been great. I will not deny that. My problem is with the software and the amount of Google-ness that Microsoft is introducing into its software, especially Windows. Like, sometimes you just want Windows to be in the background to do what you want. Like, Windows shouldn't be a mobile operating system. Oh, thank you, Panos. Usually people who use devices don't have the future in mind. Wow. So you can't do the one more thing that Steve Jobs does. You have to tell us ahead of time. Yeah, that was the one on the very right. That was my first Surface One. The most powerful Pro ever. Edge to edge. That doesn't sound like edge to edge. I've never liked those keyboards actually. Yeah, they've always been. Oh, so that's the new pen. So maybe they don't have a pen for the. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, the fact that the pen can sort of just like lock itself in, that's pretty cute. See what they're trying to do though, right? Like you can see that Microsoft is trying to own the entire stack from hardware up to software. And so they're trying to do what Apple does with Google superimposed on top, right? Innovative. Because the Surface Pro 7 is like 3 years old. Wow. That was a dig at Apple, by the way. Yeah, because Apple has the still has the camera on the short side. you, you you can see that they're trying really hard to. Oh wow, good job. So you have True Tone as well. Well, yeah, because they're trying to sell it to consumers, right? Magnetic charging. Nice. Oh, that's cute. Okay, I'll be honest, that is kind of cool. No, I can't. What? Wait, she's wearing the same thing on this as she is in the. So I guess it was recorded on the same day, right? It looks like she's smirking. That is pretty accurate, though. Yeah. Photoshop. Good job. You sure? I'm not. I'm not sure. Do I think she's a creator? She's probably a creator. Because like she, if you listen to her enunciation, right? Like she's not. She's not. The way she talks implies that she didn't have a lot of coaching, I think. How much will it cost? 1,500? Yeah, give or take. Oh, cool. Do we have the same pen? 10th gen. 10th gen. No. Why would you use? Why would you use? Oh my god, that's silly. Well, because the 10th generation is kind of it's not that much cheaper as a processor compared to 11th. Like Intel will not sell you at a much cheaper price because the fabs are like the fabs technically aren't that far apart in terms of technology. So the only reason I can think of is it's an artificial limitation to make sure that people go and buy the Pro. But that's really annoying. Because I would much rather the smaller one with exactly the same thing. And you can actually see it. Like even in that demonstration they just had. And yes, I did turn the volume down of him in my ear, but like you can see in the demonstration that they literally just had, you can see how slow some of those things move. And that's simply because it's well, okay. I'm not going to claim that it's completely crap. No. It's kind of crap though. Cuz okay, in a chassis that small, if they don't emphasize how they've done a whole bunch of thermal, then in a chassis that size, your processor is going to get really limited. Really limited by its simply by the fact that it is too small, and there's like physics is going to limit you, especially if you use an older processor, older fabrication for your processor, and when you then like try to, well, I mean obviously, like they're selling it as a kid's tablet. But why can't sensible adults also have a nice small tablet that they can use, right? Like, give me that tablet in that size with the pen, and I might switch back. Well, no, it's true, right? It's because I did pre-order the iPad Mini, the new iPad Mini, for that exact reason. Oh, wow. Ocean plastic mouse. Yeah, they all have to do that now because it certainly is a necessary part, like waste reduction and talking about all of that is certainly important. So they have to, especially on a consumer facing product, right? You're not going to see them talk about this when it's completely focused to business customers. Building 121. See, if your buildings are named numbers, then perhaps you shouldn't force yourself to try to appear hip and young and just like. Well, it's true because it's like when Microsoft has a very specific clientele and a very specific market where it makes most of its money, and it is not in hardware and it is not strictly in selling Windows to consumers, right? So 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 there is a captive market that they don't even need to address, right? But all of these features that they're introducing, you can just see like system admins going, oh my god, we have to take care of this, and it's just it's annoying. Yeah, I wish we could like actually the interesting part is Microsoft won't let you turn these consumer experiences off on the lower versions of Windows. You have to have at least the, I think it's the Enterprise Edition, before you're allowed to turn any of this off. And that's just ugh. Okay, this is this is good. Well, I mean, this is important, right? Like, obviously all of our corporations should be making the effort to integrate everyone in society, and Microsoft has been actually doing very, very well at accessibility, more so than basically any other company in the industry. And it's it's actually kind of sad to see that their efforts in that particular realm have not been um, quite as well recognized, right? Like Microsoft has actually come out with a very interesting controller, video game controller that is uh, dedicated for people who cannot hold a proper. Oh, that's cool. For people who cannot hold a proper controller. It's interesting though if you consider it. Occupational therapy, right, is such a broad um, case of self-inflicted problems. Like, does that kind of make sense? That it's oh, is that because, one second, I think OBS or no, YouTube is telling me something. Audio bitrate. Why is my audio bitrate so low? Return streaming service. What? That's really weird. Huh. Okay. That's good. That's. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like this is cool for those who need it. Absolutely. I think it's very, very interesting. And in fact, I used to do that when I first learned touch typing. Because you know when you have touch typing and you need to place your fingers on the home row, right? So you like I used to put whatever kind of like crazy stickers on the home row, and that would just make sure that my fingers always returned there. This is cool. Yeah. Well, but I mean, like, is it an innovation per se? Does it? I well, in that the innovation, at least to me, right, comes from the fact that a company is formally not only acknowledging this but putting so much effort into demonstrating this. And in part this is simply because they need something to differentiate themselves between uh between themselves, Apple and Google, right? Like the big three are, in these terms at least, in hardware terms, out of them, Microsoft is the one that doesn't have its own unique. Uh, we could call it USP, yes, unique selling point. So that's why they're doing this, obviously, but it's cool, yeah. Does the jacket work on him? Um, it works. Building 83. Oh yeah, it's gonna be the phone. Corporate vice president. I'm not going to repeat that on stream, but yes, in it has it has been observed in Microsoft, at least from the from my contacts within. They've they've really talked about the effects, yes, but no, we're not gonna. I'm not going to dwell on that. There's no point. So, well, we can talk about it offline. Oh, Qualcomm. The 888 from Qualcomm is a bit of a disappointing processor, actually, because it's been it's been quite um wow, look, they have a fingerprint sensor. Cool. No. They because everybody has to use Qualcomm because Qualcomm is essentially a monopoly, right? Like Qualcomm essentially acts as a monopoly, um, which is interesting that they're still not being subject to antitrust legislation. But like Qualcomm is an effective monopoly if anybody wants to use any amount of high tech processing in their Android phones. Like there is simply no alternative. No, they're oh, that's cool. Is that an edge display? Cool. But yeah, and so it's what? Can you use the pen? See, I called it. There we go. Oh, you shouldn't use bright screens like that in the middle of the night. Yeah, you can see that they're trying to make an entire hardware and software ecosystem out of it, which is kind of cool. Like, I like the way that device looks. So happy for you. Good job. Who loves power? See, they all say that. You know, like, oh, this is the fastest phone ever, blah blah blah. And again, right, like we come back to this idea that no, this is Qualcomm. Like the speed of this phone has nothing to do with you as a design. Well, okay, that's not true. Um, the limiting factor of the speed of the phone has nothing to do with the phone manufacturer and the phone developer, but rather with Qualcomm. Oh, like why does the speed differ even if they use the same processor? You mean, right? That's well, it's the same thing with all processors. Like, it's how much heat can you dissipate? If you can dissipate a lot of heat, then you're in a good place because you can run the processor hotter, which means you can run it faster. If you can't dissipate a lot of heat, then your processor has to throttle itself, otherwise it'll run, above 100 degrees and start burning people. Curved display. Oh, and so that curved display, they can, because it's AMOLED, they can only use a little bit of the display and use that to display their notifications. That is cool. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, you see the edge thing? Yeah. Samsung started that with its edge. Including Team Snapchat. That's so funny. It seems our administrator knows me best. She, yeah, it's exactly as she said. Usually, when I shut up, that means I'm paying attention. I wonder who their lens or their camera module supplier is, because I don't think professional photographers also have a much bigger aperture. No, not aperture, bigger sensor. I mean, that's cool. I will admit that that's cool. But the fact that Microsoft still is using actually, hold on. If they have enough time for this, maybe, because remember, Microsoft released a Surface Pro X, which is a ARM-based version of Windows. And ARM is the same technology that Qualcomm uses. So the Snapdragon 888 should theoretically be able to run all of those applications that run on that were designed for the Surface Pro X. So that's kind of cool. No. No, that's not cool at all. It's all right. Yeah, selling services. Right, everyone is into selling services now, because hardware is a much lower margin business unless you're Apple, right? For whatever reason, Apple has always been able to make proper margins off their hardware. But I think Microsoft is probably making some margin on its Surface line. Yeah. See, that's what I was saying. Well, ish, what I was saying. Yeah, you would imagine that she uses Snapchat, right? What was she? Corporate vice president of mobile devices, I think. Yeah, definitely a heavy Snapchat user. I said thank you the same time as her. Yes. Also, this isn't a very long thing. Good. Thanks, Panos. Oh, look at that! Magnetic charging of what? Oh no, that's a motor. My bad. Oh, it's a keyboard. Oh, it's the next Surface Book. It must be the new Surface Book. Or maybe no, the Surface. What was it? The one that's detachable. Is it detachable? No, it doesn't look detachable. See, now they're talking about thermals. Oh, 14. No, that doesn't look detachable. Is it? No, it looks detachable. Yes, take it off. Oh no, it's not detachable. Yeah. I like the tactileness of it, that they claim that it's tactile, yes. Honestly, I think my perfect version of this would be if it were like the Surface Go size, yeah. So it uses the Surface hinge. But it's not like... Yeah. See, I'd much rather they actually redo the Surface Book. Of a studio. No, it really doesn't. No, it really doesn't, Panos. It does look good though. No, 100%. It does look good, but I think the graphics aren't that good, right? Because all it said, as far as I remember, was 3050 Ti, the Nvidia 3050 Ti, which is it's not bad, but it's also it's like what it's like the I don't think no I don't. Good job, Panos. Happy for you. Well, she's not doing anything with it. Just look at her. Like her desktop has nothing in it. This was all pre-planned. Come on, Panos. Let. Who do you take us for? Come on. That's true. That's true. They are still getting used to trying to do this. It's it's I don't think it's that bad. No. You know, that's actually a really good sell. The best keyboard I've ever put my hands on, because that's something that I've been looking for the past, 2-3 months now. Oh, thank you, Panos, for telling me how emotions work. Doesn't know how to use a pen. I love the idea of that haptic feedback, I will admit. Yeah. But it's like, I like that it's decoupled from the operating system. That the haptic feedback should theoretically be part of the firmware, which means that it doesn't matter what kind of application you use to go along with it. That it should still work. That's not desktop quality. Let's just be very very clear about that. It's approaching desktop quality, but it's not desktop quality. Yeah, you certainly need desktop level hardware to go on WhatsApp. I don't think so. Hat or sunglasses. Well, why didn't you just shoot all of this with your new camera then? Yeah, use your same microphone on to take this video. He sounds so happy. I think he got coached pretty well, I guess. Wow. But that's Nvidia's like accomplishment. That has nothing to do with Microsoft. And also prototyping neural networks is different. What we can talk about that in a different day. What's up, Scott? Wow. Scott is amazing. Isn't Scott amazing? What's up, Scott? Oh. Good job. Like what? So this is gonna sell for what, like 2K? Give or take? Yeah. I don't know what that means. What? Why is a big green cursor something to be proud of? Yes, actually going back to something we talked about earlier. That's why I talked about thermals like 3 or 4 times during this entire broadcast, right? And that's the entire point. Like if you have the proper thermals, you can. And if you look at the whatever it's laptop studio, whatever they're calling it, the thing on the bottom, thing on the bottom has is surrounded by grills, and that means all of that hot air gets pushed outwards, right? I'm fairly sure that's the Mac shortcut as well. Yeah. Well, because Apple were the ones that first popularized those swiping gestures, right? And for the longest time, Apple really had the only, how do you say, the only precision touchpad that actually works pretty well no matter what. Is that on high 60 frames per second? Right? Yeah. That's as much as the 3050 Ti is capable of. October 5th? 2 weeks? 2 weeks. They're sitting just on their webcams, just waiting. I like that all of their mics are muted. That's good. Oh, they literally. Oh, Satya, hello. Yes, but we can't talk about that on stream. We'll talk about it afterwards. I have, yes. Hello. Excuse me. Oh, what? Something's going on my desktop that is being incredibly annoying. Oh, okay. Wait. I miss Steve Ballmer too. What new laptop category? Oh, the studio, yes. No, that's not a new category. That's just you finding out that Surface Book doesn't work, so you try to make it. You try to find another way of making a elitist device. It's true. We only have one planet. Who the device manufacturer is? I've never really thought about it. I have no idea actually. It might be interesting to go into the supply chain and see who does what. Can you remind me, please? Yeah. We'll just talk to some analysts. Yeah. 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 Actually, while he's talking about cloud and edge AI, it's actually really interesting, right? Microsoft is trying to abuse its market position, and or abuse its portfolio to force customers to buy everything from Microsoft, as opposed to like picking and choosing certain pieces. Uh, there was complaints, right? When Satya first came to power, uh, there was a, well, not first, but like in the first few years, the cloud division was growing rapidly. And if you actually go and talk to some of the people that were in the divisions at the time, and the customers at the time, part of it is just because Microsoft was aggressively um, selling their cloud platforms by forcing customers to choose bundles as opposed to choosing only subsections to work with. Is this it? Oh, yeah, I guess that's it. So Panos promised me a revolutionary new device, and all he gave me was a Surface Pro that comes attached to a keyboard. Conclusions, questions. Yeah, conclusions first. You guys can type out questions if you want. I like the pen. Cause okay, cause the one criticism, or not criticism, the one thing that, and I know this sounds like an excuse, but the one thing that's keeping me from really like dedicating to drawing on tablets is that the pen feels too smooth. Obviously, the reason why I don't draw on paper is because I suck. So obviously, like drawing on a tablet means a lot of things. And you guys have seen some of my more recent scribbles that I haven't really published because they're really bad scribbles. But the idea is there, right? The idea is that if they they are correct that there is feedback from paper when you write, and that's why I still write on with notebooks, and that's why when Panos, not Panos, whoever the other dude was showing the Surface Go Mini, I was talking about not Surface Go Mini. What am I saying? Surface Go. Yeah, that's probably what it's called. Doesn't matter. The smaller one. That's why when they were showing the smaller one, I was much more interested in it, even though they market it as a thing for kids, right? Because obviously, like, I guess that's all that they care about. I was going to say something. Oh, right. Because with the feedback and everything, if all of that, I did say this at the, if all of that were available on that thing, I might actually go out and buy one because it could, in an ideal world, be a replacement for a notebook, right? I would not have to buy, a billion fountain pens and a billion notes. And my notes would actually be accessible to me wherever I go. And so that's and that might convince me to actually pay for what OneDrive. That's what it is, right? Because why would I do that now? There's literally no need. But if there is this ability to combine written and typed notes, Microsoft is coming out with a thing that they call, what was it, Liquid, whatever. There is a new cross office, like Microsoft internal file type that makes going between Excel and Word, etc., and makes between going all of these things sort of universal, which means that you can ideally you could just while you're within Word, even you can start a proper spreadsheet, etc., and then you can input all of that into, say, for example, a OneNote file, and suddenly you have everything that's sort of very, very interestingly kept in one gigantic mind map. And I would love that. Absolutely, 100%. Would love nothing more than that. Will they? No, probably. Probably. It's Microsoft, right? Like, actually, if while we're talking about Microsoft, the history of like innovations from that came out of Microsoft during its sort of monopolistic days was actually kind of amazing. Like, there was a lot of stuff that Microsoft pioneered and then never really commercialized. for structural reasons, right? Because it grew too fast. It became an empire with lots of very little fiefdoms and corporate internal competition, right? So it's yeah. Yeah, I see those questions. I don't feel like answering most of those questions. um, yeah, well, we should probably end it here for today. There's nothing much more interesting to talk about. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Um, in terms of speed, what are we looking at? We are with the Surface Pro. We are probably looking at. I mean, depends on what you want to do. Again, no, that's usually my answer, right? Depends on what you want to do. If you want to, say, for example, just work on your documents, check email, blah blah blah, any of them will be just fine-ish. Um, don't get the Go because it's using crap hardware from like 3 years ago. It's unfortunate because yeah, I've talked about it. Do you really play video games? What do you play? Yeah. If you play text-based adventure games, this is obviously a serious question, right? If you play text-based adventure games, yes, any of them will be fine. Even the Surface Go. You're right. Congratulations. But no, because the thing is, in our modern age, right? Like a lot of stuff happens online. And so a lot of you, even though I keep saying it every bloody week or every bloody day, still use Google Chrome partially because for some of you that's corporate mandated. Um, but don't, right? Like if you were to open up a bunch of tabs of Chrome on a bloody like Surface Go, you're just gonna kill it. Like that thing is definitely not going to have that much memory, at most 8 GB, right? Like and Chrome is such a memory hog because it's not designed to at this point it's not designed to sit on top of another operating system. At this point Google would rather you just get a Chromebook or a Chrome tablet or whatever, right? Yeah, but even then, like Chrome is just anyway. Other question. The pen. I have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe we should get one and try it. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. That might be interesting. Yeah, we can get one and try it. We'll see. I mean, maybe it'll work out just fine. Well, yeah, it's mostly that the whenever they talk about these things, they have to make it sound like it's the second coming, right? Like that's just I don't know. That's the it's good market. It's proper marketing. Let's put it that way. So yeah, we'll try it and we'll see how that goes. But I don't think it's going to be as great as they say. But I could see the pen. Actually, no. Hold on. I could see the pen with the Surface Duo 2. Right, like you could imagine some interesting interplay there where you would actually use that as your daily notebook if there's proper pressure sensitivity and all of that. Yeah, that could actually work out really well. Of course it doesn't have Windows, but like there's only so much you can do about that, right? Yeah. Well, that's why I would have loved to see Microsoft turn that small tablet into a proper machine, right? Like what Apple's done, essentially. Because Apple is using its own latest silicon, latest processors in the iPad Mini 6, which means that it is, even though it's downclocked a little, and we can talk about that on a different day, but even though it's downclocked a little, it is still the most powerful hardware that it has. That works with its own software, right? Like everything Apple makes now is universal, which means it's all ARM based ish, um, and so that makes it really worth sort of investing into because it should work. Yes, that's why I pre-ordered it. But with this, who knows? Well, that's the thing. I did talk about the ARM angle. How Microsoft released the Surface Pro X. What was it? 2 years ago? 3 years ago? That was an ARM-based version of Windows that basically had nothing on it because for obvious reasons, right? But you could imagine though. You could imagine that if Apple is able to make, like, if Apple is able to do a translation layer that is so powerful, right? Like the M1 laptops from Apple will run all of the old Intel apps, Intel applications and software with no issues. So if Apple can do that, you could imagine that Microsoft could theoretically. But Microsoft, I think, would have to design its own chip for that. Yeah, you can't just continue to use Qualcomm because, well, like, no matter how tight your correspondence is, there's still two companies, so you can't simply go in and tell your hardware team that I need these features because it's essential for software, for a software stack that's 3 layers away. That's it's Qualcomm might help you, but they certainly have their own idea of what they need, right? So yeah, it pays to be vertically integrated, and that's why actually on a slightly short tangent, that's why Google is making its own smartphone chip, right? And we think we see that it's going to be a little bit better than the 888, simply just because it's much more tightly vertically integrated. But Google being vertically integrated has its own issues. Anyway, we're done for today. Thank you very much for watching. This was good. We'll probably have another one whenever Apple comes out with its laptops, etc., etc. Yeah, we'll talk about it then. Questions? Concerns? Yes, please download Firefox. Please don't use Chrome. Actual questions, actual concerns. Oh, hi, Nex. Next, you seem to always join me in the last 5 minutes. Well, we'll see you next time. Tomorrow it'll be slightly later than this, so hopefully you can join me tomorrow. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Download Firefox, don't do Google Chrome, and bye-bye.